See you at Parker's.
Now, in high definition, you're watching WTOC TV, the Southeast News Leader.
Good morning, and thanks for watching Me News at Daybreak. I'm Whitney Harris. Iria Sandlin has the day off, and we begin this morning with breaking news. Fire crews called out early this morning after a small garage fire on Glen Oaks Drive. It happened around 3 this morning. We're told no one was hurt, but no word yet on what started the blaze. Let's take a live look now from our WTOC Sky Cam. This is the Weston Riverfront Sky Cam. Looking pretty good out there this Friday morning. Let's check in with Dave Turley for our forecast. Morning to you, Dave.
And good morning to you, Whitney. As we start out our Friday, we do have a lot of dry weather across the region. Just a little bit of some cloudiness trying to develop here across parts of Chatham County, heading back over towards the Statesboro area. But should be a dry start for us. Definitely going to be a warm one out there. Temperatures range from 75 in Douglas and in Alma all the way up to 81 still over on Hilton Head Island. Let's take a look now at your planner. We take a look at your planner for the morning hours. You see a dry start. Temperatures in the upper 80s there by noontime. We're going to see temperatures into about 90, it looks like, at the 5 o'clock hour, with about a 40% chance for a scattered shower or thunderstorm in here. So it'll be a hot and muggy day today. Looks good for our weekend. We'll have more of that forecast for you coming up in just a few minutes. Whitney?
All right, Dave, thank you. And top stories this morning. France is sending a military unit to Mali to secure the site where an Air Algeria plane crashed with 116 people aboard. Most of the dead were French citizens. The plane, owned by Spanish company Swift Air and leased by Algeria's flagship carrier, disappeared from radar less than an hour after it took off yesterday. The plane crashed during a rainstorm in Mali. An Israeli defense official says the security cabinet is meeting to discuss international ceasefire efforts, but also the option of expanding its ground operation in Gaza. A Palestinian health official says the Gaza death toll has risen to 808, with 115 Palestinians killed yesterday. Israeli police say thousands of security forces have been deployed around Jerusalem's Old City in preparation for possible Palestinian protests today. And authorities say they found the remains of an 18-year-old who disappeared while diving off Folly Beach earlier this month. The Charleston County Coroner's Office announced Thursday that DNA testing linked the remains to Tristan Allen. The Coast Guard says Allen was trying to take off his weight belt when he slipped back under the water. And developing now, a Tybee Island man is facing charges after threatening to shoot police officers in the face. Donald Cowart, known as Tybee Dak, is charged with terroristic threats and acts and also possession of marijuana. Tybee police say his record goes back 2 decades. They say this is the same guy who took a loaded gun into a Tybee City Council meeting back in December and was arrested. Police say he continued to harass people at City Hall since the December incident, and a number of businesses have been complaining about him. Well, that's why 2 detectives agreed to meet with Cowart at a memorial park to discuss his cases and any answers and questions he may have. They met him, but the meeting didn't go as planned.
We're available to answer any questions that he had or concerns or just anything that he had to ask concerning his cases. He went on to indicate that if a Tybee officer were to stop him, touch him, or question him, that he would pull a gun out and shoot them in the face.
Police say Cowart knew the conversations were being recorded. After the detectives reviewed the threats with the Chatham County DA's office, they issued an arrest warrant for him and arrested him on a traffic stop.
Very seriously. With the events that happen in the world, at least, if somebody gives you a warning they're going to shoot you in the face, that's, you take it seriously.
Cowart has been denied bond in his initial appearance and will go before a judge again next Tuesday. A Savannah teenager has been charged with aggravated assault in the July 17th shooting of another teen. Police say 17-year-old Rondé Robert White shot Dion Folston Jr., who's also 17, near the corner of 36th and Cedar Streets. The victim was taken to a hospital, but his injuries were non-life-threatening. Savannah Metro Police are now looking for leads after after the shooting of a 29-year-old at West 36th and Florence Streets. It's a story we first told you about yesterday on V News at Daybreak. Police say officers found Sean Jackson on the porch of a house suffering from gunshot wounds. They're investigating reports that he was being chased by another man when the shooting happened. This marks the 11th shooting in Savannah in just over a week. If you have any information about any of these shootings, call Crime Stoppers at 912-234-2020. Well, following continuing coverage on the 2 firefighters injured after a shed explosion on Mahoney Road in Hinesville, it happened late yesterday morning when the firefighters were trying to put out a fire inside the shed that was being used to store gunpowder for reenactments of the war between the states. The firefighters didn't know that when they went inside, and the force of the explosion knocked them both out of the building. The firefighters are now said to be recovering from their injuries. Savannah City Council is reaching out to the community to talk about increased property values. The millage rate is staying the same, but some property values in Savannah are increasing a little more than 3%. Well, this will bring about $1.2 million, which will help keep the city from dipping into their rainy day fund. Some Savannah residents say they originally thought property taxes were going up.
You know what, that's a good thing, but for someone that's on a fixed income, that does not have homestead exemption, that does not have Stevens Day, that is not a good thing, you know. But economically, it is a good thing because that means the economy is turning around, so I'm okay with it.
There will be one more meeting held on August 7th at 2 p.m. And still to come, we're learning more about the victim of the Malaysian plane jet that was shot down over Ukraine, and hear what Mexican officials are doing today for Mexican immigrants living in Georgia.
And we have a nice quiet start across the region with dry weather out there, warm temperatures. It looks like it gets hotter as we move into the weekend. We'll have a look at that with our first alert Doppler Match 7 forecast coming up.
I needed coverage that I could afford, so I called ICANN.
When I lost my job, I needed health benefits from my family, so I called ICANN.
With my history, I couldn't get health insurance, so I called ICANN.
Going without health insurance? One call can change it all. Rates too high? You've been turned down, or just need to save money. ICANN has plans to meet your needs, no matter your income. We have plans that include coverage for doctor visits, prescriptions, hospital stays, surgery, emergency room visits, and the list goes on. But wait, there's more. ICANN has programs that connect you with licensed doctors round the clock from wherever you are. And as a special bonus, if you call right now, we'll send you a no-cost, no-obligation Humana prescription drug savings card just for calling.
That's a savings of up to 50% off your prescriptions at 54,000 participating pharmacies nationwide.
So don't wait. Call ICANN right now.
Now is the time to get the pool of your dreams. The experts at Pride will create a little paradise in your own backyard. Pride pools can design any shape or size to fit all families, so bring your family together with a Pride pool. Visit us in Claxton and Savannah or online at pridepools.com.
The water feels great. Come on in.
Pride Pools, spas and leisure, your home for backyard family fun.
Planning to sell your car?
They warn you about buyer beware, but nobody ever tells you seller beware.
America Now reveals the auto scam that could take you for a ride. Then, how to avoid the latest trend in identity theft.
Somebody had actually used my identity to take out a loan.
Plus, 3 foods most dieters give up.
It's too high in fat, it's too high in calories.
That could actually help you lose those unwanted pounds.
Today on America Now.
Tonight at 7 on WTOC.
Welcome back to the News at Daybreak. It is 4:39 now on our Friday morning. We are taking that live look from our WTOC B&E Burgers downtown Skycam. All is quiet over in the downtown area, and all is warm, too. 78 degrees currently still here in Savannah with clear skies and a west-southwest wind, still about 8 miles per hour. We're going to have a little bit of a breeze, it looks like, along the coastal areas here. But everybody got is dry. There's a look at our satellite and radar along with some temperatures. We're in the mid to upper 70s, all locations with the exception of Hilton Head, still at 81. And everybody's going to see a good deal of some sunshine, just like we saw yesterday, today. We do have a little bit more of a frontal boundary. You can actually make out some clouds and even a few showers kind of just along and south of that frontal boundary here. And I think we'll have at least a chance for getting some more of those afternoon storms. Nothing expected to be severe. You see just some general thunderstorms which could develop later this afternoon. Now the thunderstorm chance about 40%, especially inland and our northern areas today, 93 the high. Those rain chances go down for the weekend, but look at our temperatures. We're back in the mid-90s through Monday before we might not get out of the 80s there Wednesday and Thursday. Whitney?
All right, Dave, thank you. Developing now, global aviation leaders will meet next week in Montreal to discuss safety and security issues. The announcement of the meeting came on the same day as the Algerian airliner with 116 people aboard crashed in West Africa and Mali. Participants are also expected to discuss the bad weather crash in Taiwan and the shoot-down of Malaysian airliner last week over eastern Ukraine. Well, more victims of the Malaysian plane disaster have arrived in the Netherlands. Most of the 298 people killed when the jet was shot down over eastern Ukraine are Dutch. Meanwhile, Australian and Dutch diplomats joined to promote a plan for a UN team to secure the crash site, which has been controlled by pro-Russian rebels. General Motors and its main Chinese partner are recalling nearly 20,000 imported Cadillac SRX sports utility vehicles and Chevy Camaros to replace defective seat bolts. GM says the defect might cause seats to descend to their lowest position, possibly causing a safety hazard. This is GM's third recall in China in 14 months. In national news, immigrant children may be housed at Maxwell Air Force Base in Montgomery. Alabama Governor Robert Bentley's office was notified that Maxwell is on a list of possible sites to hold the immigrants. The Secretary of Defense says the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services will have to first assess whether Maxwell meets its needs before making any final decisions. Georgia Governor Nathan Deal has sent a letter to the Obama administration asking that states be given more information on who will pay for the care of these children before sending them to the states. Across Georgia, officials from the Mexican consulate in Atlanta will be in Valdosta again today to help South Georgia Mexican nationals get passports and other documents.
In essence, it's pretty much it's Mexico coming here to their citizens to help them to get passports and IDs.
Officials have served hundreds of people at the Goodwill Career Center in Valdosta each day since Tuesday. Well, after the break, a grandmother is facing charges after her 3-year-old grandchild is left in a hot car. Details on who came to the child's rescue. And hear how officials were able to trace down a dropped 911 call. Get this, to a cat hanging out at the office. That's coming up next.
Crunch these numbers. Over 20 years, golfers have played 10 million rounds on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail. That's about 800 million strokes, give or take 50 million, played on 468 holes over 26 championship-caliber courses. Any way you cut it, that's a lot of amazing golf. Come see why the New York Times calls the trail some of the best public golf on earth. Visit rtjgolf.com. The Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail. World-class golf that's not a world away.
It's a distinctive sound when you hit it solid, and I think it's one of those things you get pretty excited about. I think the most important part is having confidence in the selection you make. When I got the phone call that said, look, you've got prostate cancer, it was a fairly dramatic wake-up call. I had discussions with a number of guys who recommended everything from Johns Hopkins to the Cleveland Clinic. The primary reason that I didn't exercise any of those options was Buford Memorial had a great reputation and did robotic surgery and was able to use the Da Vinci system, which was foremost in my mind because the recovery process was a whole lot shorter. I could have picked a different club. Fortunately, I didn't.
If you've been injured in an accident, tell the insurance company you mean business. Call on the Hurt Line. Gary Martin Hayes and Associates.
Savannah Food and Wine Festival, November 10th through the 16th. A week of culinary and wine excellence. Save 10% with promo code WTOC on SavannahFoodAndWineFestival.com.
Flip My Food with Chef Jeff, coming this fall to WTOC.
4:44 here on our Friday morning, and we are taking that live look from our WTOC SR Georgia Southern Sky Cam. All is quiet there. 76 degrees, humidity at 100%. Winds are calm at the moment for a lot of the inland areas, and everybody's seeing some dry conditions across the region. So we'll just look at our temperatures showing very warm conditions out there as well. 77 Vidalia, Claxton, and Hinesville. We're going to see a pretty quiet start. About a 40% chance for some of those inland showers and storms. Still right about 92 there at that 5 o'clock hour. And we are expecting to see the temperatures warming up even more for the weekend. Look at those mid-90s with only a 20% chance for afternoon storms. Whitney?
All right, Dave, thank you. Well, let's get you caught up on a few of the big headlines making news this morning on the news at Daybreak. Fire crews called out early this morning after a small garage fire on Glen Oaks Drive. It happened around 3 this morning. We're told no one was hurt, but no word yet on what started the blaze. A Tybee Island man is facing charges after threatening to shoot police officers in the face. Donald Cowart, known as Tybee Dak, is charged with terroristic threats and acts and also possession of marijuana. Tybee police say his record goes back 2 decades. A 17-year-old Savannah teen has been charged with aggravated assault in the July 17th shooting of another youth. Rondé Robert White has been charged with aggravated assault in the shooting of Dion Folston Jr. near 36th and Cedar Streets. Savannah Chatham Metro Police found Folston on 36th Street with gunshot wounds. Across Georgia, 2 women face charges in Moltaire for leaving a child in a hot car. Carmen Pacina and Sheila Clemens are charged with reckless conduct. Police say they left Pacina's 3-year-old granddaughter in a car outside Colquitt Medical Regional Center Tuesday afternoon. A nurse on her lunch break noticed the child and notified the hospital security and police.
Make sure that you haven't left any pets or any children in the vehicle, and also just be vigilant when you're at these stores or at these businesses. And if you see anyone that has left a child or a pet in the vehicle, definitely give us a call so we can take care of the situation as appropriately as possible.
Police say the temperature outside was 89 degrees, but it was about 120 degrees in the car. They say the little girl was left for about 30 minutes. She was drenched in sweat and upset when she was rescued, but she was okay. In financial news this morning, shares of Amazon plunged 10% in extended trading yesterday after the retail giant reported a larger than expected loss. While sales rose 23%, the company recorded a quarterly loss of $126 million. A big source of the loss was spending on new products and services, including Sunday delivery, the Fire TV media streaming device, and Amazon's first smartphone, the Fire Phone. Well, in Florida, an investigation gets underway after a cat call to 911. Check this out.
We just got a call at 911 from this phone. Does someone there have an emergency?
Employees at the Cat Depot say Zeke the cat knocked a phone off the hook and then somehow dialed 911. Zeke's owner says this isn't the first time the curious feline has played with the phone. He's also called other staff members and even hung up on clients. Zeke's owner says she thinks he was just a little bored and the phone is his favorite play toy. I can actually see my cat doing that too. All right, well, coming up, there's new information for pregnant women concerned about blood clots. Also, hear about the latest health risks for people who have unusual work hours.
It's not just a suit anymore, it's a mind change.
This July, bring your gently used professional attire to Men's Warehouse and we'll donate it to men re-entering the workforce. And as a thank you, you'll receive 50% off your next purchase.
Give a suit, change a life.
You've counted on the flowers in your hours of need.
Flower Family is a name you can trust.
Hi, I'm J. Bernard Flowers. And we are the Flowers Family. And we believe in serving our families with dignity and honor.
And don't forget, call my daddy. He'll come wherever you are.
Wherever you are.
Here at Ogeechee Technical College, I teach students the value of hard work and dedication. I'm proud when they're able to realize their purpose and be successful. My purpose is fulfilled when I see students graduate and begin working in a profession they love. I'm Tony Pizzacano. My purpose is to help students find their purpose.
At Ogeechee Tech, there are many instructors like Tony to help you find your purpose in everything from accounting to truck driving. Ogeechee Technical College, education with purpose.
From flash flooding.
Heavy rains leading to some serious flooding on East Lathrop and Louisville Road.
To washed out roads.
It's bad out here. We see at least 2 cars that have been stranded here.
As quick as lightning, the WTOC First Alert Weather Team was there to keep you high and dry when severe weather hit.
Very heavy rains falling continuously into the city of Savannah.
The only station giving you live up-to-the-minute information. WTOC, the Southeast weather and news leader.
When I put on the first suit, I felt important.
This July, bring your gently used professional attire to Men's Warehouse and we'll donate it to men re-entering the workforce. And as a thank you, you'll receive 50% off your next purchase. Give a suit, change a life.
All right, welcome back. In health notes this morning, people who work rotating shifts are at increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes. New research published in Occupational and Environmental Medicine finds shift workers have a 9% increased risk for diabetes compared to people who worked normal office hours. The risk actually jumped to 37% when looking at just men. A common blood thinner used to prevent blood clots in pregnant women is ineffective. That's according to a Canadian researcher who found the drug that many women inject into their belly has no positive benefit for the mother or the child. Doctors say the results will save many women from unnecessary pain during pregnancy. Patients who are misdiagnosed with cancer after CT lung scans actually don't worry more than patients deemed healthy. That's according to a new Brown University study. CT scans often give false positives, but researchers say patients who believe they have cancer don't report any increased anxiety or a lower quality of life. All right, well, across Georgia, a new study shows slight improvement in the well-being of Georgia children. The Kids Count survey ranks states based on a long list of health, education, economic, and community indicators. Georgia moved from a number 43 to 42 in this year's study. One area of improvement, the teen birth rate has dropped by more than 50% since the study began 25 years ago.
On the whole, there's a really concerted effort to improve the programs that we deliver to teens to make sure that we are making a great impact. We're making sure that organizations like ours are partnering with the schools and making sure that we serve as a way to augment what the school system does.
The Annie E. Casey Foundation puts out the Kids Count data book each year. The authors did say it's impressive that Georgia is making some progress despite deepening poverty in many places. All right, well, in entertainment news, the creators of the new SpongeBob SquarePants movie have released the first image from the movie. SpongeBob Sponge Out of Water will debut on February 6th, and the first release from the new Paramount Animation unit begins in the traditional animation world, but midway through the film switches to a CG world. The main characters become an Avengers-type team who have to save Bikini Bottom from Antonio Banderas, who voices a pirate. Well, happening today at the Buford Water Festival, lots of people will be lining up on the corner of Bay Street and Harrington Street to take part in the festival's annual bed race. Taking a look at video from last year, the race last year started about 2 blocks down on Harrington Street, with defending champions, the Werewolves, taking home first prize again for best time. Today's race starts at 5 p.m. with a check-in time at 4:30. Looks like a good time there. Well, last night there was a huge turnout for the Low Country Supper at the Water Festival. The numbers have grown over the years, more than 2,000 in the park last night. And on the menu was Frogmore stew with sausage, shrimp, and corn, Sounds pretty good to me. Then there was watermelon for dessert, and for the first time, it was all cooked right there in the waterfront park. Well, for entertainment, the world-famous Whistlers featuring past Commodore Sherry Little in the lead role, and for the finale, a Whistler's Kiss for 2014 Commodore Brandy Gray. And don't forget, the big parade starts at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. And if you can't make it there in person, just tune in right here on WTOC. We'll also stream it live online at WTOC.com. And because of the parade, Recipe Rehab will be moved to 8 o'clock, and Jamie's 15-minute meals will run at 8:30. Let's check in with Dave now for another look at our forecast. Morning, Dave.
And good morning to you, Whitney. As we start out, 4:54 now with clear skies, 78 degrees right now here in Savannah. Light breeze out of the west-southwest. Feels like 80 as we have still a lot of those dew points remaining in the lower 70s. So it was a warm, muggy start to the day. Should be dry, though, as we get out the door this morning. You see by 8 o'clock, still 77, 80 already by 9 o'clock this morning. We are going to see temperatures in the lower 80s through 10 o'clock, and with a mixture of sun and clouds going up to a high today, it looks like 93 degrees. Time right now is 4:55. We'll be back with more of the news at Daybreak after this commercial break.
WTOC TV is looking for a newscast producer that has at least 1 year of newscast producing, possesses solid news judgment, works well under deadline, and be able to react quickly and effectively to breaking news. Strong skills in posting to the web, working with social media, and gathering of user-generated content is a must. Also will be responsible for coordinating story content production. If qualified, please submit resume, links to your work, and your application online at the address on your screen.
Are you one of the many Americans who undergo CPAP or BiPAP therapy? Replacing your supplies every 3 to 6 months is critical, as bacteria will build up and worn-out straps cause leaks. Call Allied Medical Supply Network and speak to an expert agent who will set up a schedule for your supplies to be delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today and rest easy.
Call 1-800-953-0918. That's 1-800-953-0918.
Don't miss out on St. Joseph's Candler's 12th Annual Smart Women Luncheon and Expo. This year, featuring national medical correspondent, syndicated TV host, and women's health expert, Dr. Jennifer Ashton. And best of all, proceeds benefit the Telfair Mammography Fund. It all happens Wednesday, September 17th at the Savannah International Trade and Convention Center. Call today to reserve your tickets.
It's time to take a road trip.
Alabama's got 100 road trips, and some of the best are music to your ears, like the Alabama Music Hall of Fame. Or head over to Muscle Shoals and Fame Studios. Or the iconic Muscle Shoals Sound Studios. And if you hang around for some golf and a bite to eat, you might just run across the next big star. Alabama has a road trip with your name on it.
Which one you gonna take?
Welcome back. Still to come on the news at Daybreak, the latest on the search for 2 men after a high-speed chase in Waltowerville, and hear from witnesses after a 50-year-old man is struck by lightning at a beach in Florida.